The third of the Scottish Cup quarter-finals, live from Celtic Park. It is Celtic against Hibernian. A team on Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland with John Collins, Pat Bonner and Liam McLeod.
Glasgow bathing in sunshine here, which is covering the entirety of the North Stand over on the far side, as these two go head-to-head in the Scottish Cup for the 26th time. Celtic have won 15 to Hibernian's 3. It's the 6th time they've met at Parkhead in the Scottish Cup, with Hibs yet to win here in this competition. Celtic winning twice, the other 3 drawn. It includes 2 semi-finals, and the second of that being a second replay, which Celtic won before going on to win the Cup. The last time Hibs beat Celtic in this tournament was at this stage in 1986, when they beat them 4-3 at Easter Road. It was a game that sealed Gordon Jury's big move to Chelsea 10 years before he scored a hat-trick in the final for Rangers against Hearts. Hibs had beaten Celtic in the League Cup in Leith earlier that season too. Coach Eddie May played and scored for Hibs, with Cowan hitting a double, Chisholm got the other, McQuair's braced, and one from McGee for Celtic. But Hibs have not beaten them since then in the Scottish Cup. And it will be the visitors who are going to kick this one off. The noise from the PA here is extraordinary as it eventually shuts down ahead of kick-off. And referee Nick Walsh, who took charge of last season's final, gets the game underway. Hibs shooting from right to left in their green and purple change colours. Celtic in the green and white hoops, as you would expect here. And Hibs looking to repeat what they did 15 days ago by inflicting a second domestic defeat on Celtic this season. Could it be a third? It's popped through to Boyle, right-hand side of the box at the byline. He chips it back across.
Yeah,
Michael
offside.
holds on the 6-yard line, but as you can hear from Packy in the background, offside flag.
Oh, and what a pass. It's just got out of play. A beautiful pass. Volley, on side volley from Schmeichel out to Kuhn, just overhit it slightly. Yeah, but it was beautiful technique.
It would be more beautiful if Kuhn got onto it, to be fair.
Absolutely.
It's out for a Hibs throw-in on this near side, which last week's Derby hero Jack Iredale will take. As he takes about level with the edge of the D on this left-hand side, bowling it forward. Bowie will chase. Carter Vickers is there. And he goes back to Kasper Schmeichel, who plays it short along his 6-yard line for Trusty. He'll then knock it out to Jeffrey Schlupp over on that far side. John Collins.
Well, that's the difference with Kasper Schmeichel. Most goalkeepers in Scotland have got that pass back from the centre half. Because he was under pressure, they'd have launched it. What does he do? Looks up and pops it across the left back. That's the difference. That's what I call class.
Perfect day for tying around, you'd have to say. It's pretty benign conditions. Flags on the top of the North Stand, the corner flags all limp at the moment. The sun is shining, and it's Celtic on the ball with Carter Vickers out to Johnston on this near side. Up the line it goes to Kuhn, who'll have a little go at Nicky Cadden here. It's the overlap from Johnston's always an option for Celtic, it seems. Johnston unable to get it into his stride. The challenge from Iredale, and out for a Celtic throw-in. Celtic shooting east towards the Lisbon line stand end as Kuhn plays it in. It's a wonderful ball, but Maida couldn't quite get a toe onto it. And it comes right through to Jordan Smith. That is exactly the kind of ball Daisen Maida wants to receive throughout this afternoon. 2-0.
Yeah, and it was a difficult ball for him to take, actually, because it's sort of almost going away from him. But he still made the effort. He still had the thought in his brain to get across that front post.
Boyle chasing, but Trusty will get there first at the edge of his own box, and then he rolls it out to Jeffrey Schlupp, who got the score sheet in their last game, which was 8 days ago in Paisley. John, you're wanting back in?
Yeah, first thing I've noticed, Hibs are playing a very high line, very dangerous. If you don't get pressure on the ball, that's so dangerous. With Celtic's pace at the top of the pitch, one angle pass through, a penetrating run, and they're in and goal.
Kuhn has it on the right-hand side, level with the edge of the D. Now he's level with the penalty spot, jinking inside now at the angle of the box. Finds Hatate, squares it to Schlupp. He's going to shoot. It's blocked by Miller. Good block by the Aussie. As Celtic look to come again. Schlupp controlling is in a central area. He's had it nicked off him. The referee, I think, is going to give him the free kick here. It's about midway inside Hibs territory.
Yeah, he gets himself into that area quite often, Schlupp. You know, just inside the corner of the 18-yard box between the circle and that little bit of space opens up for him, and that's when the ball's on the opposite side of the pitch. He just finds himself in there, and that was a chance for him to pull the trigger.
It's the overhang from the Postecoglou era, isn't it? The Celtic fullbacks all inverted these days as Kuhn picks up over on the right now. Then he chops onto the left. Roll low ball to McGregor, who shoots. That's a brilliant save by Smith. Down low to his left. That was making for the bottom right corner. And Celtic are going to get a corner off the back of that. It's outstanding goalkeeping, John.
I mean, first of all, it's a tremendous strike from Carl McGregor. One touch to control it. Second touch, pulls the trigger. Outstanding save. Bottom right-hand corner, he's got down well, Packy.
Oh, my word. I'll tell you, that, go back to what Richard asked me just before the start of this game, that he's taken a notch up for me in that with that save. Brilliant.
Kuhn will take the corner, left-footed into the near post. Smith has to react, and he punches away with both fists. Comes back out to Kuhn on this near side. Low ball back to the captain, McGregor, who squares it to Schlupp. He's going to get it back immediately. Hibs being roared on by 7,000 visiting supporters off to our right behind the Hibs goal. And it's Kuhn jinking into the box again here. Rolls it back again to the edge of the area. This time it's to Hatate. He's about 25 yards from goal. Turns the other way and finds Carter Vickers, who rolls it out to Johnston. Hibs trying to weather the early storm here. Kuhn with a flick, Hatate with a cross. It's too high for Maida. It comes all the way through to Jota. Nicked away from him by Chris Cadden. Schlupp picks up the scraps over on the left-hand side of the box, pulls it across, and Celtic have another corner.
Really, really fast start from Celtic in this game. That's been 2-3 chances now they've created. Block, shot, the goalkeeper, big save. That time again, getting down into a great position to get a ball across the box and giving away the corner. Hibs, but Hibs under pressure. They've got to try to get through this little period.
Arne Engels will take this time in swinger with the right foot in front of that safe standing section on the Celtic left as they attack the goal to the right. Bent in by Engels. Smith claims brilliantly, and what a relief it always is for the defending team when the goalkeeper makes such a clean interception as that. It stays nothing each year.
Yeah, just on that, he's not the biggest, is he? You know, I'm looking at him. He's not a 6'5" goalkeeper that we've become accustomed to in the modern game.
Packy.
Yeah, which isn't big. But what he actually has done there brilliantly is to get above everybody and clutch that ball and take the pressure right off his defence. Good goalkeeping again.
Well, from a goalkeeper's point of view, exactly what we want. A nice early save and a nice cross.
There's a brilliant ball through for Maida. He just got himself goal side of Iredale and Bushiri, who react well. Win it back for the visitors. Played out to Miller on the far side. Sells Maida the dummy. Cuts in field. Rolls it into his own box for Bushiri. Decides to pirouette away from Maida. He's a player reborn. Rocky Bushiri's having a fabulous time of it just now. To the point, last week, the Hibs fans were in unison singing his name, which would have been unimaginable just a few months ago. Bowie wins Hibs a free kick right of the centre circle just inside his own half.
What you've seen from Rocky Bashir, you wouldn't have seen 2 months ago. You've seen a player playing with a lot of confidence. Won it there at the back, inside his 6-yard box, and he's clipped it up to the striker's chest. Hasn't just launched it up, he's played a nice weighted pass.
Here's Bushiri on the ball here, flashes it out to Iredale on this near side, and he plays a chip ball down the line, looking to try and get Campbell involved, but he's been ransacked there on the near side. Josh Campbell, who got both goals in Hibs' victory at Easter Road over Celtic a couple of weeks ago. Jota has it over on the far side, midway inside the Hibs half. Back to Schlupp, infield to Hatate. Kuhn wants it on the near side. It's an easier ball for Hatate to Johnston on the inside channel there, and Johnston gets it to Kuhn eventually. He's level with the 18-yard line, left-footed chip ball. Jota's in the back post, heads it down off Chris Cadden, and Celtic have another corner.
Yeah, he's creating problems. Kuhn, he's picking up the ball, he's cutting on the inside. Everything so far has been on the inside. He's got the overlaps coming from Johnson, but he hasn't taken that option, and he's playing little balls either square or to the back post. That was a lovely chip pass, and Jota getting in round the back. So that's another half opportunity, you got to say, for Celtic.
Engels will take this corner from the Celtic left again. It's a hugely congested 6-yard area. There's double-figure players all in there right now. Engels trying to put it into that area, and it comes again, and it's off the line there by Triantis. Went over Smith, breaks back to Hatate, shoots wildly on the volley over the bar, and it will stay Celtic nil, Hibs nil, almost on 8 minutes.
Right, Hibs now have to try and get some possession of the ball, try and calm it down. Back three's got to split, take it, be brave. We talk about bravery in football, it's so important. Bravery is not about flying into tackles. Bravery is taking the ball when you're under pressure, making an angle for your teammate.
Yeah, goal goal kick here. There was a brief penalty check there for a possible handball, but it's come off the shoulder, so that's okay. I'm not sure whose shoulder it was, as Jordan Smith clears with the left foot high out to the right-hand side, looking to get onto the head of Miller, which he does. Miller's done brilliantly, and then Bowie sweeps it forward with the ball. Kind of had his back to goal there when he did so, but he couldn't find Boyle too much on it, and Celtic have it with Schmeichel out to Johnston, and a side football infield to McGregor. Looking to add to his massive medal haul is Callum McGregor. He's never lost a cup final, be it at junior or senior level, or youth or senior level rather. He's got his hands on this trophy again last season, as Jota picks up on the far side, midway inside the Hibs half. Just poking it to Johnston, who will look for Kuhn down this right flank. He's onto it now, is the German. Goes back to Johnston, who goes back to Cameron Carter-Vickers. It was the 27th of January 2010 when Danny Galbraith scored a late winner for Hibs. Fortuny and Stokes had traded goals. Stokes was in Hibs colours at the time. Since then, in his 19 visits to Celtic Park without a win for Hibs, 4 draws, 16 defeats, as Johnston knocks it through for Kuhn, right-hand side of the box. It's away from Nicky Cadden, flicks it with the outside of the left, and Smith holds on. Stays 0-0.
It was a great run, good pass, but I'll tell you again, good goalkeeping. Stepped off his near post to just deal with that sort of ball. I know it wasn't the pace wasn't on the cross, but his positioning was really good from the goalkeeper. Been impressed so far, I've got to say. All the things he's been asked to do, he's done very well.
Celtic have started the game so well. There's a sharpness about their passing. Everything's crisp. And there's Hibs goalkeeper's got the ball, and Maeda's pressing him. Unbelievable pressing. And what does the goalkeeper do? He kicks it straight out of the park. Celtic back in possession.
Hibs cursing the luck of the draw that sent them here in both cup competitions this season. Also here in the League Cup, as Kuhn picks up right-hand side of the Hibs box, rolls it back to Johnston. Then along the deck to McGregor behind him, now with Sloop, left central area for Hitate. Looking up at the Hibs penalty area, he's gone for goal, blocked by Bushiri. And we'll pop out here to Iredale, who try and feed Campbell, too much on the pass, still comes out for a Celtic throw-in on the near side. The use of the ball from Hibernian is going to have to be better than that if they're going to get themselves into the draw for the semis by the close of business here. It's back with Carter-Vickers on the halfway line. And the ball forward to Hitate, who finds Engels, who's overhit that pass for Trusty, and he was out for a Hibs throw-in, this time over on the far side. Chris Cadden already on side to take.
I'm just wondering how Nicky Cadden deals with Kuhn. You know, do you show him on the inside? Do you show him down the outside? You're almost left with a 2v1 situation if Johnson keeps making those runs, whether outside or inside, and it's very, very difficult for him today. As a wing back, he's got no real help.
It's so difficult. He's got 2 players every time Johnson gives him the ball. Kuhn flies round the outside. It's 2v1 near enough every time.
Jordan Smith has it in his own box. Sting ball out to this left-hand side. Campbell's the target. Johnston wins the header, though. Trying to pick it up is Nectarios Triantis, who shifts it in field to the left angle of his own box for Iredale, who fires it forward into the Celtic half. Bowie beaten there by Carter-Vickers. Really good, strong defending. The Hibs fans and indeed their manager felt that was a foul by the Celtic centre-back. It's the holders who come forward with Engels to the right-hand side of the box for Kuhn. Johnston in his usual position on the underlap, but Kuhn uses it in the decoy and finds Hitate. Clips it out to Jota. Left-hand side of the box, taking on Chris Cadden. Gets the cross in, flicked away by Nicky Cadden. Mariah Wells trying to get onto it, but Schlup gets between he and the ball and wins it back. And back up the line for Hitate. Really has been an impressive signing, Jeffrey Schlup, for Celtic.
Yeah, he's fitted in really well. He's also a strong defender. And he's shown an example of that there, winning the ball back. Listen, Greg Taylor, I had a lot of time for Greg. He didn't do much wrong in that, but I think Schlup has just been a bit more consistent, I think, from the defensive perspective.
Jota, he's got his cross in, looking for Maidan, headed behind by Iredale. Celtic up their latest corner kick. It's going to be interesting if they want to keep Schlup, because of course there's the impending return of Kieran Tierney to this club, so you would imagine he would sew up the left back position, but given his injury problem, Schlup would be a great teammate of his, I would have thought.
I think he'd certainly be a good backup for Kieran Tierney, wouldn't he? But the question is, would he want to become and be a backup? I doubt it. 32 years of age, if we're looking to play. It's been total domination from Celtic from the kick-off.
Engels with the latest corner. It's a low one. He was looking for Kuhn on the penalty spot, but it's battered away there by Nicky Cadden. And out for a Celtic throw-in round about the halfway line.
Yeah, Celtic just from those corners, they're almost crowding the 6-yard box. Absolutely, they've got about 5 or 6 players, and that's taking all the Hibs defenders back in on top of the goalkeeper, and the space is then further out towards the penalty spot. And that time, Engels trying to pick out maybe Kuhn.
Offside,
Jota is offside. Yeah, Celtic bossing this to the tune of 77% possession at the moment, still in the relative infancy of the match, almost 14 in, 0-0.
That's normal here at Celtic Park. They usually dominate possession.
Yeah,
it's always a challenge for the opponents. Can they get a hold of the ball? Now they're tired because they've been chasing it for 10 minutes. But the only way you try and get a rest here at Celtic Park is with the ball. Use your goalkeeper, use your back three.
I think it was the Dundee United game here recently. They were on 90% possession for a decent period of time from kick-off through the first half.
Yeah, they haven't allowed the Hibs to really get any possession and work their way up the pitch too often, and that's been difficult for Hibs because they have to be defending and, as John says, concentrating all the time. But Celtic have not just kept possession for the sake of it, there's also an end product for most of the time.
Hearts and Aberdeen already through to tomorrow night's semi-final draw, which will be made in the wake of that Livingston-St Johnstone game, which is live here on BBC Radio Scotland with Sports Sounds also on the telly on Sports Scene at 7:45. Kick-off tomorrow, on air at 7:30. Sports Sound on the air just after 7. It's Engels for Celtic. He's back onto the halfway line for Johnston. Side foots it back into his own half, edge of the centre circle with Trusty, who finds Sloop, who finds McGregor, and back to Jeffrey Sloop on the far side. 15 in, 0-0. Celtic on the ball with Jota. The North Stand side, back up the line for Hatate. There's likewise for Sloop, trying to hold off big Kieran Bowie. He's back to Trusty, who plays it to the right of the centre circle for Carter Vickers, and then to Trusty. And that left-hand side, it's with Sloop again, looking to put it through for Maida, but Bushiri holds him off, and it comes right through to Jordan Smith. The positive right now for David Gray and for the hordes of Hibs fans off to our right is that the scores are still blank.
It is, but I know what the manager will be standing there thinking he wants his players to get a little bit more of the ball, be brave, make angles to receive it, don't just kick it long. That's the danger when you've got a 6'4" striker, is the temptation is to go long too often, too soon, instead of keeping it, and it's just wave after wave of attack. They're giving the ball back to Celtic.
Couldn't keep that in play down below us. That will be a throw into Hibs. It'll just take a little bit of an edge off it for a little bit for the visitors, who've been under the cosh since the opening minute of the match. Really, they'd won 40 forward in the opening seconds from kick-off, and since then it's been a rearguard action. That's what you would expect when you come here. It's a Hibs team unbeaten in 15, though. You would imagine they'll have their moments. Remember, Mikola Kukarevich missed 2, maybe even 3 superb opportunities the last time Hibs were here, and it was their last defeat. But here's Kuhn looking to put it through for Maida, goes down. I don't think there's any question that's a foul. Looked like he just ran into the back of Bushiri. He's in the edge of the box.
Yeah, I think it was half-decent defending, I've got to say. One way to stop Maida is block off the path of his run, and he did that reasonably well there. I think he's...
It's a ball through for Bowie, left-hand side of the box, he's in, and he forces a brilliant save from Schmeichel. Bowie again, low ball across, is cut out, blocked by Engels, and behind for a Hibs corner. And this is, Celtic fans are upset because they think they should have had a free kick at the edge of the Hibs box. Packy doesn't think it was a free kick. I certainly didn't think it was a free kick. What did you reckon?
I didn't think it was a free kick either, to be honest. But in fairness, Maeda did claim for it. He's very claims for something. He's a very honest player. But that was an excellent play from Hibs. It's just a quick throw-in. Bowie through and goal, strikes it. It's in the corner. It's a great save.
It is. I was one that you would expect him to save. It's kind of almost hit at him, but still it was a brilliant chance. He just probably should have maybe tried to hit it across the goalkeeper rather than take him on at his near post.
It's a Boyle corner, short to Nicky Cadden, who fires it in. It breaks to the penalty spot. Miller trying to get onto it, but there's the charging, rampaging Maida picking it up, playing it forward quickly for Jota, who's driving forward. He's onto it. Right hand side of the Hibs box now, and it's well defended by Nicky Cadden. He's been outstanding over the course of these last 3 months. He was involved in the attack there from the corner. He great backtracking, and it's no mean feat when you've got Maida and Jota rampaging forward at pace like that. Celtic nil, Hibs nil on 18.
Tremendous defending for Nicky Carn. He's put a cross in at the top of the pitch. Next minute he's sprinted back 70 yards to take the ball off Jota. Tremendous work for his teammates.
Yeah, Jota didn't quite have the legs, had he, to get away from them. But he if it was Kuhn on the other hand, might have been a slightly different story. But how quick was Maeda also to react to the edge of the box and won that ball to hit Hibs on the counter-attack.
Brendan Rodgers just making his way to the edge of the technical area down below us. He hasn't lost a home cup tie domestically as Celtic manager. Just that one defeat all told in cup competition. He rampaged all his way through the cup competitions during his first spell at the club.
So I'm looking at Rocky Bashiri, and his body language to me is he doesn't really want the ball.
Right, well, Jordan Smith's allowing him to take the goal kick here, and he's just played it short to the goalkeeper. He'll then presumably fire it out to this near side, and he does, but it's, well, it went straight to Johnston, but it's come through him, and Keenan Bowie's managed to force it forward. Boyle will chase, but Schmeichel comes to the edge of his box to claim, and he plays it short with his foot there to Carter Vickers, who finds McGregor. McGregor then left to the centre circle for Sloop. And infield for Callum McGregor. And to Johnston on this near side. Callum McGregor looking to add to the 23 honours that he has won as a Celtic player over the course of his 10.5 years in the first team here. Of course, John worked at the club with Ronnie Dyla when he made his breakthrough all those years ago.
Yeah, he's a joy to watch from the very first day he pulled on a Celtic jersey. I could tell he was top quality football player, on and off the pitch, brilliant attitude. And he's just stepped into the captaincy role seamlessly.
Kuhn to Johnston, he wins the throw-in off Iredale on this near side. A wonderful goal Jack Iredale scored last week to settle the derby in the capital. Johnston prepares to take the throw-in to Engels, gets it back immediately. A little heavy touch there, and it's actually come through to McGregor. McGregor to Sloop, left of the D. His efforts blocked there brilliantly by Mariah Welsh, who slides in. And out it goes for a Celtic throw-in in front of the north stand, midway inside Hibs territory on the far side.
Yeah, Mariah Welch, he actually did Triantis a bit of a favour there, because I think he missed the first tackle. And
yeah, it's Sloop over on the far side for Celtic, down the line for Jota. And now McGregor, he's had it pinched off him by Mariah Welch. He's going to have to do a lot of that today, the Hibs midfielder, but he's won the free kick for his team over on the far side touchline. Just to the right of his own penalty area. There's clearly an incentive for Hibs to get into a cup semi-final today. And if they don't lose this one, it will be their longest unbeaten run as a top-flight club since 1947. That puts it in perspective, does it not?
It's an incredible turnaround. All credit to manager, his staff and the players. That is superb. 15 games.
Yeah, 15 right now. Make that 16. That's how long ago it was when, as a top-flight team across all competition, that they've managed to achieve that sort of unbeaten streak. It's out for a throw into Hibs over on the far side. They're in the Celtic half here, almost at the midway point of it. Miller is over the throw in the sunshine over there. There's some wonderful results across these last few months, beating Celtic right at the top there, along with 2 derby successes. Beat to Pittodrie in one, beat to Tannadice in one. Lewis Miller with an enormous throw into the box, which is headed half away. Triantis looks to knock it forward. Hatate blocks it. Now it's with Mariah Welsh. Hibs trying to settle here, and it's with Bowie at the right angle of the area. It's well defended by a combination of Sloop and Jota, and Jota's coming away with it, looking for Kuhn. Kuhn might get onto this. Clearly come off the hand of Iredale, and the roar from the Celtic fans as the yellow card's been shown to Jack Iredale, and he's going to speak to Nick Walsh. Clearly think that was a deliberate handball there. I think it was a bit harsh, was it?
I think it definitely hit his hand, but I think his hand was in a natural position at his side.
yeah, I think it was too, and I think he doesn't deserve the yellow card. Maybe a free kick, but because he was last man and Kuhn was trying to knock it past him to get into a position, I think the anticipation from the referee was that he stopped it with his hand.
So Iredale goes into the book. As Carter Vickers plays it short to McGregor. It's now with Johnston. Johnston feeding it for Kuhn, right-hand side of the penalty area. He's at the byline. His cross takes a little deflection. It breaks to Hatate. It's in the volley. It's blocked. There, Engels with the back heel looking for Hatate. Blocked again. Offside flag goes up anyway. And it stays Celtic 0, Hibs 0 here in the Scottish Cup quarters.
One thing we've got to give Hibs credit for is that they're getting the blocks in, they're putting their bodies on the line, defending well without the ball. The question is now, can they get a hold of the ball?
But Celtic have been fantastic in this opening period. Movement, passing, intensity, creating chances.
Yeah. Everything except a goal.
Yeah.
And Celtic don't have anyone in this category, but Hibs have got 2 players on yellow cards already in the tournament. Iredale isn't one of them. It's Nicky Cadden and Triantis, who if booked today would miss the semi, should they get there. Long ball, Jordan Smith from the just outside his box is headed back into the Hibs half. Bushiri's onto it and he goes back to his keeper. Maida chasing him down. You don't have long. And Smith manages to bundle it away under pressure from the Japan striker as Boyle plays it down the left-hand side. Nicky Cadden was the target, or Bowie, but Carter Vickers is onto it and he plays it short to McGregor. Beyond the first quarter mark here. In fact, we're well through the 25th minute. It remains goalless. It's with Jota on the far side under pressure from Chris Cadden. He knocks it back to Trusty, who squares it to Carter Vickers. He goes back to Trusty. Boyle trying to get onto it. We're talking about the pace and tenacity of Dyson Maida. Martin Boyle's still got plenty of that in the locker, as was exemplified by the opening goal in the derby last Sunday. And it's Engels getting it from Johnston now with McGregor at the edge of his own box. Plays it to the left for Trusty. Trusty at walking pace. Knocks it infield for McGregor, who squares it to Carter Vickers. Out to Kuhn on the right-hand touchline. Johnston will try and get onto it. The ball comes towards him. Iredale does enough. I think he thinks Johnston's offside there. It goes out for a throw-in. Celtic take quickly Johnston to Kuhn. Nicolas Kuhn just squaring it there to Schlupp. And now with Hatate to the left-hand side of the box. It has worked to Jota at the angle. Jota back there for McGregor. Hatate to the left if he wants him. That's where it goes. Rio Hatate level with the edge of the D of the Hibs box. Trying to switch it to Johnston. It's overhit though, and behind the Canadian, and out for a Hibs throw-in on this near side. Celtic 0, Hibs 0. Some of the early match panache has gone from the Celtic performance in the last 5-10 minutes, and it'll give Hibs so much optimism. And they forced an opportunity, forced a save from Schmeichel as well. They can very much push for a place in the semi-finals today.
Yeah, I think you've got to get through that first period, that 20-minute period. If you get through that, you might be under the cosh, but you've got to defend and defend well. And they've done that. They've got blocks in. They haven't had too much of the ball at one chance, but certainly they've got through it, and that'll give them the confidence. But Celtic still very, very good playing the ball with pace. Might have the odd pass.
Johnston looking for Kuhn. He's not going to find him. Jordan Smith comes to the edge of his box and skips over it and lets it trundle behind to the goal kick. It is a huge task, this, for Hibs. Celtic haven't lost a home Scottish Cup tie since Aberdeen beat them in the 5th round in February 2014. Since then, they've played 17 Scottish Cup ties here and won them all. And actually, they've only lost twice since that infamous night against Cali Thistle here in 2000. Both those were against Aberdeen. The other was a replay in 2008. So they got a really good, strong home record anyway, but in the Scottish Cup, perhaps in particular. They obviously haven't lost domestically here since Hearts beat them a year past December. As Campbell tries to get onto it, and he's tripped Alistair Johnston. That will be a free kick. And a yellow card for Josh Campbell as well. The Celtic fans don't like it when their players get fouled.
It's a correct decision. Johnson was just too sharp for him. There was no malice in the tackle, but it was a booking.
Free kick Celtic, just about 6 yards away from this near side touchline. Engels takes the free kick, goes back to Carter Vickers on the halfway line, to his left for Trusty, and then out to Jota on the left flank, midway inside the Hibs half, dinks to the left-hand side of the penalty area for Hatate, heads it back out left-hand side for Sloop. He's got his cross in, Koons at the back post, it's flicked away by Nicky Cadden though, with the danger right behind him. Campbell makes the challenge on Johnston. It will be a goal kick, despite Johnston wanting the corner, albeit he's not complaining too much that that didn't happen. And it stays Celtic 0, Hibs 0 on 28 minutes.
Again, I'm giving Nicky Cadden the last few weeks all the credit for his delivery into the opposition's box. Here today, always good work's been done defensively. At back post, he's got his little header on. That's such an important header, because if he never got it, back post, Johnston was coming in, or was it Koon?
Koon. It was Koon coming in at the back post. He got a good position.
One ball from Smith, but that's going to go straight into touch over on the far side for a Celtic throw-in. No goals as yet. And this the third of this season's Scottish Cup quarter-final. Sports Sound live here on BBC Radio Scotland, across the frequencies on 810 medium wave, on Extra, on FM, on Sounds at bbc.co.uk/Sports Scotland. 0-0. It is Sloop infield to Hatate on the halfway line, firing it through for Jota. He's all the way through to Smith, but Packy once again, he likes an early offside shout.
I always like to see the assistant, but they don't do it anymore, do they? To get the flag up early. When you're a goalkeeper and you're working with a back four or a back five, you certainly want your assistant to be tuned in, or the referee tuned in.
Yeah, but if you score a goal from it, that kind of situation, and it's ruled out for offside, but it's later proved that it's not offside, then you're probably more angry about that.
Yeah, but I was a defender. John was an attacking type player, not really.
You were that. And one of huge repute as well, Packy, as Celtic pick up with Trusty midway inside his own half, square to Carter Vickers.
John had referenced how high the Hibs back five is when Celtic have the ball, especially at their centre halves, and they're just killing that space that Celtic like to play between the lines. Now it is a risk, but they're certainly doing very well.
Arne Engels looking to find Maida. It's too close to the keeper again. That ball's not quite paying off for Celtic yet. A little bit of frustration in the face of Rodgers down there.
But that is the pass that will break the Hibs defence. That little angle pass in behind them. They've just overhit 3 or 4.
That's broken better defences than Hibs defence this season, hasn't it? That's the bottom line. Even the last few years, really, when they play with that early ball and the pace they have, they can hurt you. And that's what they're attempting. But Hibs have got themselves a free kick here, right of the centre circle, in the Celtic half.
Yeah, just on that point, when the centre half's got the ball, you've got about 40 yards to read the pass. That's the difference. But when you open up the lines and you play between the lines, it's that little 10-15 yard penetrating pass, and that's what kills you. You've no time to react.
Nicky Cadden over the free kick, and even from this far out, he's capable of putting this on the head of somebody as it comes all the way through. Schmeichel will gather. Lewis Miller was in behind him. There's plenty of pace on that as well, and it was probably the right trajectory on the ball too.
Just a little bit too close to the goalkeeper on that occasion.
Here's Koon getting it from Johnston on the near side, midway inside the Hibs half. It comes off Triantis and out for a Celtic throw-in on this near side. Johnston bowling it back to Carter Vickers. Squares it to Trusty. Short ball to Sloop. Infield to Hatate. Back to Trusty.
I'm going to say the last 15 minutes, Hibs have contained them well. Celtic, the last 15, haven't been really cutting them open or creating any chances.
It's an intriguing cup tie right now as Carter Vickers finds Engels. Two pretty convincing wins for the two sides already in tomorrow's draw for the semi-finals. Hearts beaten Dundee 3-1 on Friday night before yesterday's game at Pittodrie as Aberdeen eased past Championship Queen's Park 4-1. Hibs get themselves a goal kick here, but on 32 minutes now. Still goalless. Both managers down there watching on. David Gray, hands in pockets. Now he's whistling at his players, trying to get their attention. He's joined by Craig Sampson in the technical area, goalkeeper coach. It's interesting, he's always involved, Craig Sampson, with, he's the same at Aberdeen actually in his time there, working under Jim Goodwin, Barry Robson.
Yeah, but a goalkeeper coach is not just a goalkeeper coach anymore. He's a coach, but what maybe the responsibility of working with the back four and getting the goalkeeper into positions where they can actually defend.
Ball down the line by Johnston. Nicky Cadden gets there ahead of Kuhn. It's not a great ball back for Jordan Smith. He's done well to control on the byline. Plays it forward to Iredale. Maida was in behind him. He comes off Iredale and out for a Celtic throw in. Nicky Cadden's down. Still sporting that face mask.
He's holding his hamstring, it looks like. Not looking good.
Oh, this would be a hammer blow for Hibs.
He's just stretched there to knock the ball back to his goalkeeper, Jordan Smith, and just looked as if maybe he's tweaked something, which, you're right, it would be a huge blow.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's done.
He's done.
The sign for the sub to be made.
It's a shame. One player Hibs don't want to see leaving the football pitch is him. He's been outstanding in recent months.
Because this, I mean, obviously there's still just about an hour of this cup tie to play, maybe extra time and penalties to come, but this might be about the weeks to come as well for Nicky Cadden. I mean, hamstrings tend to be, what, 6 weeks?
Well,
if it's a bad one.
He's up on his feet.
There was also a discussion, was there? I listened to Tom Carnan talking today about maybe who could go into the Scottish team, and Nicky Cadden was one that they were almost highlighted. Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what.
Whether that is.
Well, I'll tell you what. I've watched.
Not the worst shout.
I've watched him the last few weeks. There is no better player in Scotland in the wider area than him the last 2 months. His delivery is as good as any player I've seen.
You can hear in the background Jordan Abita coming on. Nicky Cadden has to come off. So it's a slap in the back from his manager. At least he's able to walk off. He's not needing any help. So he's walking on his own up over to the dugout, and it looks as though he's just going to sit there. Do you stick an ice pack on that? Or?
Yeah, straight away. Ice will be on it straight away.
And Johnston's bowled it back to Hibs, which is very sporting. I don't think the Celtic supporters in the main stand around about us were too happy with Johnston's decision there.
That was the right thing to do.
I think their point was it didn't look like Jack Iredale. It was Jack Iredale with a really poor ball, I think, out to this, or bad control. And then when he saw it go out, he made it look as though he was pointing at the guy who was down, as if he was putting it out of play. Johnston bought it. Anyway, it's Abita who's just on, heading it down the left-hand side, and Carter Vickers clears. But there's no question, with 10 minutes of the first half remaining, and at least the 45 with the scoreline at 0-0, that Hibs' hopes of winning this cup quarter-final have deteriorated with Nicky Cadden not being with them now.
Yeah, but listen, I think that, I don't know about you, John, but I think they'll be very happy with the way the game's panned out at the moment, because, you know, initially Celtic were really rampant, and now it's sort of settled into a different type of game. And it takes you up at a time almost to get your breather and get into the pace of the game. And now Hibs look as if they're right in it.
Thrown for Hibs on the near side. And one thing Abita gives you is a bit of height. It's more so than Nicky Cadden. Jack Iredale's going to launch a long throw into the Celtic box here. He's about level with the edge of the D of it, and it comes. Bashiri wins the header, flicks it goalwards, but it's going to bounce harmlessly past the left-hand post, and Schmeichel will take a goal kick. 0-0 at Celtic Park.
The Celtic tempo's dropped, I would say, the last 15 minutes. They could never sustain how they came out the first 15. But Hibs got a hang of Celtic system, more comfortable. Here we go.
Tate looking for Maida. Great control. Maida's in. He's put it over the bar. He's put it over the bar. Bushiri was right behind him. What a chance, the first time that Maida has looked into the eyes of Jordan Smith. He puts it over.
It was a great ball initially into Hatate, and then he plays that ball beyond. I think Bashiri got back and just leant into him a little bit.
Just put him off there, yeah.
As he was striking the ball. So it was Celtic's best chance, you've got to say. Maybe the shot from McGregor was a great strike, but that was the best chance for that ball in behind.
The first time today we've had the perfect penetrating pass with the penetrating run. It was perfect. His first touch was terrific, but his finish was disappointing. He leaned back.
But it's that ball played into Hatate in between the lines, and that allows then Maeda to make his run. And it's a short, it doesn't have to be a long pass, it's short in between the defenders, and he's in.
It'd be disappointing not to hit the target. You've got to be hitting the target from there.
Yeah.
Trusty has it, plays it to the left, just inside the Hibs half for Hatate. Rolls it back there along the grass to Trusty. He squares it to Carter Vickers, who goes back to Trusty. Big American there finds Hatate. Looking for an option ahead of him. There isn't really one there, so he goes to Carter Vickers again, who finds Johnston. In field for Hatate. And back to Carter Vickers. Square there to Trusty again. Down the left-hand side of the centre circle he goes. The left for Schlupp. Down the left flank again. Left-hand side of the box. It's Jota. Low ball in. Cleared by Miller.
Oh, listen, it was I think he was going to try to pick up Kuhn there, who was free at the back post, but he didn't make good contact with the ball, and it was easily cut out. It was a good run.
Trusty has it. Pushes it forward to Johnston, then back to Trusty. Over to the left touchline for Hatate. It's a chip ball into the box, which is headed away by Lewis Miller again. Now Hatate, level with the 18-yard line, finds the underlapping Schlupp, who pulls it back. Kuhn's there! Another brilliant save, but Maida smashes it into the roof of the net on the rebound. And the holders have the lead. And of course, it's Daizen Maida, probable player of the year. Smashes Celtic in front. There was nothing Smith could do about the follow-up after a brilliant save from Kuhn, and it is Celtic 1, Hibernian 0.
I just wonder, was he offside on the first run? And will be checked. There might be a slight, I don't know, but it doesn't matter. It was a great ball across, great pick out, and then what a save from the goalkeeper, who was so unlucky. But Maeda.
Goal stands, by the way, check complete, so it's all good for Celtic.
But what a reaction from Maeda again. Quicker than anybody else in that 6-yard box.
That just sums up his whole season. He's electric, off the mark, hungry, in and around the 6-yard box. Feel sorry for the goalkeeper, it was a great save.
Maida was there to knock home his 27th goal of the season. What a tally that is. He's also got one for Japan this season too, and 9 assists for Celtic on top of that. It's been a glorious season for him, and he's hoping it's a treble-winning season, and it's odds on that's what's going to happen. Hibs will want to have a say, clearly, for the remainder of this one. Just creeping towards half-time, and Celtic strike. How often does that happen?
That's typical Celtic. Pressure, dominating possession. You're always going to get chances late towards a half-time whistle. Players get tired, switch off a little bit. All of a sudden, bang, they're in.
And they're getting in between the lines now against Celtic, and that's the critical factor for them. When you get in there and they're able to play those little balls in behind, and then the quickness and the sharpness to get on the end of them. But Maeda,
Well, there's going to be, I think there'll be plenty said about Daizen Maeda once the season's over, and looking back at his performances across the campaign. There was a real spell there for maybe half a season even that Nicholas Kuhn looked like he might be the player of the year. I think he'll probably be on the short list, but it's very difficult to see past Maeda right now.
Well, you can't with the goals, you know, not recognised as an out-and-out centre forward. You know,
or a goal scorer.
No, and hasn't played there all season. That was but the amount of goals from left or through the centre now is incredible.
Pretty robust challenge by Kieran Bowie over on the far side. He's absolutely poleaxed Trusty. Nick Walsh is having a word with the big striker. He absolutely dwarfs the referee.
So this is a testing time now again for Hibs. They can't just sit back now. Now they've got to try and go and get an equaliser, and that's where they become more exposed, more open, more space probably for Celtic to go and play those killer passes in behind the back 4-5.
I can say Bowie dwarfs the referee because I'm about the same height as Nick Walsh. So Arnett Engels back up the line for Johnston, and infield to McGregor for Carter Vickers. He's a man mountain though, isn't he, Bowie?
He's a big unit, 6'4".
2 minutes being added on at the end of the first half, a minimum of, as it stands. 3 of the 45 to play. Jota knocks it through, and it's cut out. Breaks back to Trusty. Low ball out to Schlupp on the far side. Hibs cannot afford to concede again here. It's with Callum McGregor, and you feel Celtic will smell blood right now. They try and put some daylight between they and Hibs in the sunshine here. It's Trusty forward to Hatate. And out to Jota, level with the edge of the D of the Hibs box, down the left-hand side. Couple of chops against Chris Cadden. Gets the cross in, it comes off Lewis Miller's head. He was diving towards his own goal there, and he puts it behind for another Celtic corner. Celtic 1, Hibs 0.
Yeah, Hatate's starting to make an influence now in the game, isn't he? You're down that sort of inside left position, getting into great positions, getting the ball, able to pick the passes.
Arguably his best game of the season last week in pace. He was outstanding. Low ball, Engels from the corner, back to McGregor. Now to Hatate, takes a touch, he shoots! Oh, it's another brilliant save by Smith. Boy, he's justifying his contract extension this afternoon. That was a wonderful strike by Hatate, who announced himself in Scottish football with a man-of-the-match performance against Hibs a couple of years ago. That's another outstanding goalkeeper.
It looked like it was heading for the top corner, and he struck it.
It was the
25.
top corner, that's the point, John. What a save.
Terrific save from here. What a performance from the goalkeeper.
And it comes from Engels, and it was Chris Cadden stuck out a leg, and it looked like it might well be going back into his own goal there. It is just another corner, though. But there can be no denying how important this period is for Hibernian. They cannot afford to concede again. McGregor to Hatate. Back out to McGregor, and in field to Hatate. Looks up to delicate ball in. Carter Vickers' headers just wide of the left-hand post.
Again,
flag goes up anyway. It stays Celtic 1, Hibs 0. We're in minute 45, +2 to be added.
Hatate again, he's picked the ball up 35 yards out, lifted his head and delivered a perfect, I wouldn't say that's a cross, that's a pass onto his head. Carter Vickers should have hit the target, but he was offside.
So Celtic fans singing now. Just the one goal between them. Hibs will still fancy their chances. The difficult mission has become even more so since Maida dumped that one into the roof of the net to give the holders the lead. And clearly they deserve the lead, and they've been denied on several other occasions by Jordan Smith. Carter Vickers clears, but they are just one down, and if he can get in at half-time, get amongst his players, settle them down, then Hibs will make a fist of that second half. They've got a free kick here. Triantis takes as the 2 minutes confirmed down there by the fourth official.
Yeah, they've taken a quick free kick there. I would have preferred if you were, I'm sure David Gray would too, is if, you know, settle it down, get a big guys up and play that ball into an area where they can go. You've just kept possession, which is fine to a point, but you're at 1-0 down. Take your opportunity from the set piece.
Celtic looking for a return to Hampden already with the League Cup safely locked away in the trophy cabinet here. The league title, it's all but done as it stands. They could win that in Perth against St Johnstone at the start of next month. It's assuming they win the derby a week today. Rangers cross the city. They stay next week. As Trusty collects the square ball from Carter Vickers, looks up and then with the right foot out to the left-hand side for Jota. Schlupp ahead of him. Down the line it goes, back to Jota. He's level with the Hibs 18-yard line. Schlupp continuing his run. A little bit of trickery from Jota as he runs into a central area and finds Johnston. Now with McGregor. Now with Schlupp wide in the left. The left angle of the box now. Taking on Mariah Welsh. The break of the ball favours the Hibs player on the edge of the box. It was Triantis who clears. Now Hibs might come away in a counter here. Josh Campbell driving forward. He scored a first half stoppage time goal when they met in the league a couple of weeks ago. His ball in field though was cut out by Carter Vickers, and now it's with Schlupp, who goes back to his keeper. Celtic 1, Hibs 0. Well into the second of 2 minutes of stoppage time that were added on at the end of the first half. And it's Johnston to Carter Vickers. And now it's with Johnston. A very good performance, Packy, from Celtic in this first half.
Yeah, there was about a 10-minute period where it just dropped intensity slightly, but overall it's been very, very good.
I think in general Hibs will be happy. It's only 1-0. It could have been more. Hibs had one chance, no possession.
There's the whistle. Celtic have the lead thanks to Daisen Maida and his 27th goal of the season. And just underlining his value to this Celtic squad, and what a fine campaign he's had. Jordan Smith's made 3 or 4 outstanding saves, one early on from Callum McGregor. Kieran Bowie had his only real opportunity in the first half. He too forced a save from the keeper, with Kasper Schmeichel saving at the near post. And then Maida skied over the bar as it looked like it was going to be goalless at the break. But then, as we enter those closing stages of the first half, Kuhn's effort saved by Smith, who would later tip over a long ranger from Rio Hatate, fell kindly for Maida, and he dumped it into the roof of the net to give the holders the advantage at the interval in Glasgow's East End, where at half-time it is Celtic 1, Hibernian 0 in the cup quarters.
Celtic versus Hibernian.
Oh, this is why you love the game!
The Scottish Cup, live on Sportsound from BBC Radio Scotland.
Takes a touch and shoots and scores!
Where Scottish football lives.
Join Michelle McManus for Afternoons.
I've kept it a secret how kind I am.
You're so ridiculously kind, that's the
well,
thing.
God bless you, thank you.
On Thursday, I spoke to Robbie Williams. He talked about his incredible career.
If they don't come, I don't exist.
The recent movie about his life.
I just lived the life, told him about my life, and then got out of his way.
Going on tour.
My job is to make you feel good.
And he took me completely by surprise.
Would you like to come and sing with me in Edinburgh?
That's a joke. Catch Robbie and all my guest interviews on Afternoons. You can listen now on BBC Sounds.
You're listening to Sportsound with me, Richard Gordon. It is 1-0 for Celtic right now against Hibernian at the break, and they are favourites to join Heart of Midlothian and Aberdeen in the draw for the semi-finals, which will take place late tomorrow evening after we have brought you live commentary of Livingston against St Johnstone in the one remaining quarter-final. Remember highlights of this one today, and indeed of the matches earlier at Tynecastle and Pittodrie on Sports Scene tonight, 7:15 on the BBC Scotland channel. It's also quarter-final weekend, or quarter-final afternoon, in the Scottish Women's Cup. Already Motherwell are through 3-0 against Boroughmuir. Aberdeen have gone through 4-1 against St Johnstone. Rangers will be going through. Spartans kept them out for 67 minutes, but Camille Lafay got the opener just after that, and Kirsty Howitt has added to it late on for Rangers. So as that game goes into extra time, or stoppage time rather, it is Rangers 2, Spartans 0. And in the big game at the Oriam, Kozlova had put Glasgow City in front against Heart of Midlothian, but Hearts have just equalised. We'll bring you the score later as that moves towards half-time. It is Heart of Midlothian 1, Glasgow City 1 in the Women's Scottish Cup. As for the week ahead, well, I mentioned live commentary tomorrow night. Join us at 7 o'clock for that one remaining quarter-final between Livingston and St Johnstone. Look out tomorrow as well, and right the way through the week, Monday to Friday, for the Scottish Football Daily podcast. Thursday nights, live commentary from Ibrox. Rangers with that remarkable win in Turkey against Fenerbahce. The home leg takes place an 8 o'clock kickoff on Thursday. Join the guys for that, and then we'll round the week off on the BBC with the Championship live on BBC Scotland's Friday night. Wraith Rovers against Dunfermline in the big Fife derby. 45 minutes gone at the east end of Glasgow. It is Celtic who have been in front, and my goodness, Pat Bonner, they maybe had a spell there, 20 minutes where they weren't creating very much, but in terms of possession, in terms of control of the game, they have been pretty dominant, haven't they?
Yeah, listen, I think they've played really, really well in this game. We wondered, you know, how Hibs would sort of approach. They've sat back. They had to sit back because Celtic get so much of the ball. They've pushed them back into areas that they had to get blocks in and so on to keep Celtic out. Celtic have moved the ball brilliantly, I've got to say. A lot of it was coming sort of down the sides initially. Kuhn coming on the inside, creating a couple of opportunities for shots. With that shot, McGregor, I've got to say, and you asked me that question before the game, the saves from Jordan Smith has been sensational. The one from McGregor right down in the corner, and we've seen McGregor score those goals against other goalkeepers, but he made the save. Now he stayed back on his line. He's not the biggest, but he obviously moves very, very quickly. Got down, made a brilliant save there. The save just before half-time from Hatate's shot up in the top corner was sensational. He was unlucky with the goal also because he had a great save on that. And he's coming, he's taking a few crosses and so on. Yes, John talked about his maybe quality on the ball when he's passing, but overall, it's about keeping the ball out of the net, and he's done it magnificently well. Otherwise, Celtic would have been probably in a good position at the moment. But they've got their goal, critical goal, and just at that period, obviously, just coming up onto 40 minutes was a crucial time always to score a goal, or if you lose a goal, you've got the opposite effect. And that man, Maeda, again, just sharp as attack inside the box. You know, to give Celtic a critical goal.
Yeah, well, that was 27th of the season. He might have got it just before then, a couple of minutes previously when he got through the middle, and he was under pressure from Bashiri, and he shot over the bar, which is unusual for Maeda. I think Pat summed it up pretty well, John Collins, hasn't he? But for Jordan Smith, it could have been 3 for Celtic at half-time.
Yeah, the reality is without terrific saves, the game would be over. I think Celtic have been terrific. Started the game really well, high tempo, totally dominating the game. I wouldn't say creating clear-cut chances, one-on-ones, but shots and cutbacks and close headers, close things. Hibs couldn't really get any possession, couldn't hold the ball. Keeper went long to Bowie, hoping that he would hold it up, but the reality was Carter Vickers and Trusty were winning those, and Celtic were picking up the second ball. So total real domination from Celtic, and no real surprise towards the end when they get the chance and get the goal. Hibs defended well, compact, worked hard, tirelessly, but the problem is when you keep giving the ball away, it's just waves after wave of attack with Celtic, and they've got so much quality through the middle, in the wider areas. McGregor, Hatate passes, they're always going to create chances. So the question is, obviously, Hibs will have to come out a little bit, trace the equaliser, but you can't come out gung-ho because this Celtic team will just cut you open and kill the game. So they've got to get the balance right, Hibs. They want to go on, be a little bit more adventurous, try and keep the ball, make Celtic work to get it back rather than just giving it back, but it's going to be difficult.
So difficult though, John, isn't it?
Yeah, very difficult.
You know, when Celtic are playing with that tempo and that intensity, you know, they're winning the ball back and they're creating things. Your concentration is very much on the defensive side, trying to stay in the game, and then if you get the ball, you're out of breath. And that period at the start was sensational from Celtic.
Well, Brendan Rodgers said beforehand, didn't he? We have to be Celtic today. We had a discussion about that, Pat. They well and truly have been Celtic. And just that, I mean, we also talked on the fact that they were giving up chances in some matches of late. That's not really been the case this afternoon. Just that one quick throw, maybe Celtic switching off a wee bit. I think it was Josh Campbell with the quick
I think it was good thinking from Hibs, wasn't it? You know, more so than maybe switching off, just catching Celtic out and then behind. But no, you're right, Richard. Everything has gone exceptionally well. What initially in the game there were a lot of possession with the two centre halves, albeit Hibs were pushed back to the edge of the box. Centre halves picking the ball up just around the halfway, or just a little bit in their own half, and moving the ball fairly quickly down the sides. A lot came from both sides. Now, I think as the game just went on in that last 10 minutes of the first half, you started to get little penetrating passes into Hatate, into those areas, and then that's where Maeda then becomes really important, because he's making those little penetrating runs, and his second chance came from that. It was a brilliant ball from Hatate, and he get in there. And I think just for sure, I don't know if you've seen it on the box, have you? Where maybe he's just lent into him a little bit as he's gone to touch it. He
uses his strength, he uses his body. It's not foul. It's certainly not anything that should have been awarded against the defender. But I think he's quite clever.
Hit the target even at that?
Well, he kind of Maeda kind of slides almost, and he just gets his foot under the ball, I think, and lifts it up over the bar. It's you would have fancied, even under pressure, you'd have fancied Maeda in the form he's been in to put the ball in the net. He wasn't able to do so. Look, as things stand, clearly Hibs need to score, John, and I know it's a cup tie, and you know, the perceived wisdom would be you're as well losing by 4 as you are by 1. You're out of the cup in any case. But is it still the situation where David Gray and Hibs have to try to remain in this game for as long as they can, and maybe think about opening up a little bit later on and trying to find a way through Celtic?
I would love to tell you I want to see them go gung-ho and try and get a goal and open up, but The reality is, if they do that, this Celtic team could probably pick them up on a number of occasions. They could take a heavy defeat. But I think David will think, look, keep it tight the first 20 minutes. But I think he'll be saying to them, we've got to try and get more possession. We've got to try and pass it out from the back. What you've got with this system, Hibs with 3 central defenders and 2 wing backs, is basically a back 5, right? And Celtic push their wingers high and wide and a centre forward. So that's 5v3. So Hibs can't press. They're just running about. The rest of the players, the 5 Hibs players are playing against 7 Celtic players, and they're running and chasing. And as the games go on, they'll get so tired. Celtic will cut them open. The question is, will they change his system? Will he go to a back 4? I don't think he'll change anything. I'll just say, keep it as it is. Try and stay compact. We get throw-ins, get them in the box. Try and, again, they've lost Carden, which is a huge blow as well. For any corners or set pieces you get, he can fire them in as a threat. So that's a real shame from Hibs point of line. I hope going forward it's not a serious hamstring injury. Hopefully he's back for next week or the week after. But I don't think I'm looking at Hibs bench. They have got a lot of forwards on the bench, but I don't see them making any substitution or changes to maybe 15-20 minutes to go.
No, I think what they've got to do is stay in the game. 1-0, if you stay in the game, and Celtic haven't been able to increase their lead, and you get it down to the last sort of 20 minutes, 25 minutes, you have a real chance then to maybe make that change to that back 4 and get Hoylett on or get Gale on, and those experienced players, and they have a wee eye for goal also.
Yep. So what Hibs have got here, about 7,000 supporters here came through, so they'll get a little bit anxious, or they'll start hearing them if Hibs are sitting back and letting Celtic completely dominate the game. They'll want to see them have a go, and it's just, again, it's that balance, when to go and attack and when to sit back. One thing they've got to, if they go and attack, they've got to go as a unit. They can't have huge gap between the back centre halves and the centre forwards. That distance always got to be 30-40 yards. It can't be 60-70 yards, and the game becomes really open, because then you will see Celtic.
I just wonder, John, would he change the shape slightly in midfield maybe, and push one of his maybe 2 of his midfielders higher up a little bit and leave one sitting, just to nullify McGregor. Every time that Boyle or Bowie goes and puts a bit of pressure on the centre halves, on Schmeichel, they pop the ball into McGregor. McGregor's free and he turns, and that's the press over almost.
The reality is the only way they can get any pressure up the top of the pitch is to do away with 3 central defenders. They're outnumbered otherwise. They'll sit with 3 central defenders against Maeda. They're outnumbered everywhere. So will they change it to a back 4? I don't think so, because the back 5 of 3 and 2 wing backs has been successful for 15 matches, so I doubt it'll change that.
I suppose this, and it will largely depend on what Celtic do and the approach they come out and how they play in the second half, I guess. But this is where you would hope, from Hibs' point of view, that the confidence that they have gathered over the course of this 15-match unbeaten run might help sustain them, Pat, might give them some belief, self-belief for the second half.
Yeah, well, listen, they will believe. I think I don't know whether they've been in this position throughout those 15 games. They've maybe been on the front foot and almost maybe in the lead in most of them games.
There's been a couple where they've had to come from behind.
Okay, yeah. Well, they can then look to that and say, well, what do we do then? How do we change it? But I'm sure David Gray has thought about this, leading into this. He always kind of probably knew that he might have to do something different because he might fall behind. So then he'll rely on that. The players will be tuned into that, I would think. And that's what you've got to do. But the listener confidence is still very, very high. And they know that they've got players in the team also that can score goals for them if they get the opportunities. There was a set piece that he took really short, just what I think probably about 2 or 3 minutes to go to half-time. For me, I think you've got to try to use all those things. They've got the long throw, which we've seen, into the box, but try to use those things, because when it goes to a set piece, both teams are equal. And if you've got a little advantage in the air, not with maybe bigger players, use it. Don't just throw those opportunities away.
One thing we know, Celtic are going to come out, they're going to go for the jugular. Brendan's teams, he'll be saying to them, want goals. Second goal will kill Hibs off. Hibs first 10-15 minutes are going to have to keep it nice and tight, weather the storm.
Well, both sets of players are back out. It is Celtic 1, Hibernian 0 at the interval. 27th goal of the season from Dyson Maida, putting Celtic in pole position to become their third of this season's Scottish Cup semi-finalists. Live second half commentary with us here on Sports Sound of BBC Radio Scotland with John Collins, Pat Bonner and Liam McLeod.
The last time Celtic lost a domestic game here at home, having scored the first goal, was when Motherwell beat them in December 2015. So knocking on a decade since Celtic scored first and lost to a fellow Scottish club inside their own stadium. Huge task for Hibs now. Celtic aiming to win the Scottish Cup for a record-extending 43rd time as they kick off the second half. No changes for either team. Of course, Hibs had to make one in the first half with Nicky Cadden off and Jordan Abita on, as Celtic come down the right already, going right to left in the green and white hoops up against Hibs in their green and purple change kit. That goes out for a throw-in over on the far side for Celtic, about level with the penalty spot, as Johnston bowls it back to Carter Vickers, who looks and sees what's ahead of him, decides to play the simple ball to Johnston on the touchline and infield to Kuhn. Faced by Triantis and back with Carter Vickers. It's Schmeichel in goal for Celtic. Johnston, Carter Vickers, Trusty, Sloop, Engels, McGregor, Hitate, Kuhn, Jota, Maida. Hibs with Smith in goal, Miller, Bashiri, Iredale, Chris Cadden, Triantis, Mariah, Welsh, Obita, Campbell, Boyle, Bowie. As that's rolled back to Schmeichel at the edge of his own box. Short side foot to his right there for Carter Vickers, who goes back to Kasper Schmeichel. And out to Sloop on this near side. And McGregor finds Johnston on the right. Up the line there for Kuhn. Abita trying to stick with him. Nicholas Kuhn is running at him here with the ball up to the angle of the box, plays into the overlapping Johnston, across it comes, and Smith smothers at the feet of Jota, who was looking to get on the end of it. It stays Celtic 1, Hibs 0. It's a brilliant move down the right there.
Yeah, a really good move from Celtic, working the ball through the thirds of the pitch down the right hand side, and that ball was played with pace right across the 6-yard box. But again, the goalkeeper picks up that very advanced position off his post and deals with that ball. Really, really good goalkeeping, I've got to say.
David Gray down there, that head of his, of course, ended 114 years of pain for the Hibs fans when he scored that late winner against Rangers in that 2016 final. That Hibs team quite clearly was down an Easter Road legend. I mean, the famous five didn't manage it. Turnbull's Tornadoes didn't manage it. Gray and Co did. So that comes back to Smith, to the edge of his box. Maida, of course, closing him down. He's to dump it away quickly up towards Boyle. There was an offside flag. Nick Walsh is allowing Celtic an advantage because they were in possession. And it's Johnston to McGregor in the centre circle. Shifted to the left for Trusty. Out to this near side for Sloop. Infield to Hitate. He goes back to Carter Vickers. He was fouled by Triantis, and Nick Walsh is going to book the Aussie here. And if Hibs were to go through to the semi-finals, they would have to do without Nectarios Triantis. Maida got a quick free kick there. The ref's not ready, and the Celtic players or supporters can't complain because Hitate's still on the deck.
Really interesting. David Gray's obviously had a Warren's told his front five and wants them to press.
Possible red here, by the way, they're checking.
I don't think so. Surely not.
Serious foul play, it says, yeah.
Kevin Clancy's the VAR. Hitate's still down.
It depends how high he's caught him. Seem to be walking away from. They haven't had anybody on to give him treatment, which is interesting.
He's okay. He's up.
Well, they are checking this red right now. Nick Walsh being told to just hold play as they check to see whether this yellow for Triantis should be upgraded to red.
Yeah, I don't
have a look. No, game on. The yellow card stands. As Hibs go down to 10, you can almost get to the point where you can forget them going through. Anyway, Triantis stays on. No, he won't be able to play at Hampden in the semis if Hibs are able to turn this round in their favour.
Yeah, I'm just again looking at the midfield, John, from Hibs. Can they get a little bit closer to McGregor and that? You know, he seems to be sort of very free in there and that sort of almost hold and roll, and they're playing the ball around the front too.
It's so difficult for them. Celtic have got terrific movement and superior numbers.
Well, Boyle and Bowie have barely been involved in the game. Bowie had a good chance in the first half, but we've barely seen Martin Boyle. He's not got in behind once, I don't think.
Well, at the bottom line, they've had no possession in the middle of the park. You need need possession of the ball before he can feed them.
Jota on the left, midway inside Hibs territory, plays it short to Sloop. Forward to Engels, just through his legs and breaks kindly for Triantis. He goes back to his keeper. And Smith launches it high up towards the halfway line. Met by the head of Trusty, nodding it forward. Maida was coming back from an offside position, so Bushiri can head away. Sloop finds Hatate, who fires it out into the feet of Jota on the left. Now he's taking on Cadden. Make it for the byline now, Jota, and his ball across is blocked and behind for the corner.
Good defending from Cadden, stuck to his task. He's not a full-back, he's a wide midfielder, I'd class him, but he does his work well. Stops the cross coming in.
He's done well defensively since kind of being converted to that role. I mean, he could play wide. Occasionally he saw it at Motherwell, but generally he was in the midfield, you're right. There'll be a corner then for Engels to take. On the main stand side, the Celtic attack the Jock Stein stand to our left. Jordan Smith with his hands high in the air. Just under his crossbar. Another crowded 6-yard box as the corner comes in. Headed away well by Obita. That's what he brings to the team. The referee's blown his whistle for Hibs anyway, and they've got a free kick inside their own box. It is Celtic 1, Hibs 0. We're just beyond the 50-minute mark here at Celtic Park. The third of the Scottish Cup quarter-finals.
Right. I'd like to see the Hibs central defenders wanting the ball. Take it off your goalkeeper. That's it. Feed it.
And it's played out to the left there for Iredale. Down the line for Obita. Boyle's on his bike this time. Obita, can he find him? He needs to be good. It's away by Trusty though. And Carter Vickers has given it straight back to Obita, but Engels is there to smash it up the pitch. And it's into the Hibs half with Rocky Bushiri, who plays it to his right for Miller. Onto the touchline for Cadden. Steps in field away from Jota, then under pressure he's to go back to Miller, who goes back to his goalkeeper. Still Celtic within striking distance for Edinburgh's green and white, as Mariah Welsh goes back to Iredale and then out to the left for Obita. First time ball forward there to Bowie, out to Campbell, who we've barely seen in the game either, and he's been challenged well there by Johnston, albeit on the stretch. He appears to have hurt himself. Celtic play on here with Sloop across halfway. Plays it to his left for Jota, the left angle of the Hibs box. Outside of the boot, he plays it into that corridor between the keeper and the defence, but Smith's onto it with Engels unable to make any contact with the ball whatsoever. Hibs come away with it down the left there with Campbell infield to Triantis. He's lost out though to a combination of Hatate and Kuhn, and now it's with Johnston, who's back in his feet and he's okay. Finds Jota in the centre circle, short to McGregor and then to Sloop.
Triantis has got to do better there. It's simple possession in the middle of the pitch, giving it away needlessly. He's got to move it quicker.
I also thought there was an opportunity to go and counter-attack Celtic. You know, the goalkeeper's done well, picked up the ball, get to the edge of his box, he throws it out, short throw out to him, and he had space to go and attack.
Skill by Jota down the left. Chris Cadden's gone to the ground. No free kick play on. Advantage for Celtic. Jota into the box. Drops onto the right. Shoots. Saved by Smith. And stabbed clear by Lewis Miller. It's brilliant from Jota. Down the left flank. Stays 1-0 to the holders.
Jota at his very best. One thing in his mind, getting at the full-back, beating him and getting his shot off. A little bit too close to the goalkeeper, that one.
Sloop in the central area to his left for Trusty. And then out to this near side for Jota. He goes back to Austin Trusty, who finds McGregor just in the fringes of the centre circle in the Hibs half. Short to Engels, out to the right for Johnston. Onto the touchline for Kuhn. Facing Obita, Johnston goes round him. And they overlap Kuhn along the 18-yard line. He jinks, plays it short to the left of the D for Hatate. Then to Jota. Just behind Hatate, the return ball, but he's onto it, squares it to McGregor. Now it's Sloop. Looking for Engels. Good, well defended there by Miller. Strong, the edge of his box, goes back to his keeper. And Smith clears out to the far side. Bowie will try and keep that in play. He's been unable to do that. He's ended up flattering into the advertising in front of the north stand on the far side. It's Celtic 1, Hibs 0, approaching 54 minutes.
I think that's the ball you're talking about, John, when the goalkeeper gets it. Kenny had a better quality ball. He's got two strikers to pick out there, and he's got to be seeing that before the ball comes to him. He's got to know where they are.
And the two strikers had no protective midfielders in front of them. It was an easy ball to drop into their chest. Never even looked there.
McGregor left to right of the circle there for Johnston. Low ball to his right for Kuhn. He's a bit level with the Hibs 18-yard line now as he skips and fields at the angle. He shoots for goal, but it's easy for Smith at his near post to hold on to this time from the left-footed effort from the German, and it stays Celtic 1, Hibs 0. It's Triantis stumbles in the ball, and Hatate's nicked it off him, and Kuhn now up towards the edge of the box, driving forward, side-foot efforts deflected behind for a Celtic corner, and Triantis is a lucky boy.
Very lucky, dwelling on the ball. He's looking tired already. Just the start of the second half. That's what happens when you have hardly any touches. All you're doing is running, chasing. All of a sudden you get the ball and you're a bit tired, lethargic looking, isn't he?
And he needs to be a team player, doesn't he? Because he needs that positive mental attitude, despite the fact he wouldn't be able to play in the semi-final if Hibs are able to turn this around. And that might be clouding him as well. And this tie could get away from Hibs quite quickly if they're not careful. Mistakes like that could have been costly. Engels will take in swinger with the right foot into the 6-yard box when it's met by the head of Campbell, who clears. Hatate heads it out to this near side. Campbell chasing. McGregor gets there first. His header finds Engels. Engels then moving in field away from Campbell, looking to shuffle away from Boyle. He goes for goal. It's deflected, and Celtic have another corner. This time over on the far side.
You just feel another goal's going to come soon, I think.
Yeah, they're just pinning Hibs back in. Hibs can't get out, can't get up the pitch, and the more that they're pinned in, the more opportunity will come for Celtic.
Kuhn's over this one, in swinger with the left foot coming up from Kuhn in towards the back post, a very deep one. Engels flicks behind him, he is back to goal, but it was behind harmlessly.
I'd like to see a little bit more imagination from Celtic at the corners.
That was their 9th, they've all been the same really. There's been a couple, 1 or 2 have been played short, the rest have been swung into that area.
In fairness, Hibs are strong in that area. 3 central defenders are decent at winning the headers. I'd like to see maybe a little short one. Mix it up.
56 on the clock, Celtic 1, Hibs 0. Long from Jordan Smith, up towards Bowie, challenged by Trusty. Miller gets onto it, but loses out to Rio Hatate. He's looking to get Kuhn away. Here's a wonderful ball. Kuhn sprinting away from Iredale. Chance potentially to win the tie, but that's a wonderful slide challenge by Jack Iredale. Just as Kuhn was thinking of pulling the trigger, it stays Celtic 1, Hibs 0.
Tremendous defending. Had to get that right. If his timing was wrong there, it was a penalty kick.
Yeah, listen, it was brilliant defending, but what a ball from Hatate.
Yeah,
also.
Well,
Under pressure, losing his balance, he picks out a great ball for Kuhn.
Cadden for Boyle down the right-hand side, blocked by Trusty, and Hibs have a corner right in front of their 7,000 supporters off to our right, as they try and find an equaliser. And Jordan Obita's coming over to take. To say, I thought Obita's height might come in useful.
Yeah, he's got a good left foot. He'll whip this in. He'll whip this in on top of the goalkeeper. Hibs usually attack it well from set pieces.
Edinburgh side looking for a leveller here. Obita waits to take. So look up at the Celtic box. Everyone bar Kuhn's back to defend it. In from Obita, and it was in a decent area as well, but it's just a bit too high for both Campbell and Iredale, and it goes behind for a Celtic goal kick, which Schmeichel's already taken short to the right. Given away though. Mariah Welsh down the line for Triantis. Back to Iredale. His ball forwards cut out. Now it's at the feet of Daizen Maeda. Just outside the centre circle. He rolls it to his left for Sloop. Then up the left-hand touchline for Jota. Taking on Obita. It's an early ball looking for Maeda, who goes down, wagging the finger from Nick Walsh. No free kick. The challenge is from Rocky Bushiri. Could have gone either way, that. In the end, it's gone Hibs' way.
Yeah, I think that was a free kick, because he stepped across him just as he's trying to make his run.
Well, it's only controversial if Hibs do something here as they attack Celtic. Down the line, Cadden for Bowie. Level with the Celtic 6-yard line on the near side touchline. Back up for Cadden. Gets away from a couple of challenges. Hatate with the tackle, and out it goes for the throw-in down by the corner flag on this near side. You know, some moves from the Celtic fans there.
From Hibs.
Well, it's going to be the long throw, isn't it?
And as you know, Lewis Miller's got some long throw on him. Getting close to the hour mark at Celtic Park. The holders leading 1-0 against Hibs. And Hibs have a chance to put this into the mixer here. Lewis Miller drying the ball down. Long run up coming up here. He's almost back against the wall of the main stand off to our right. And in it comes from Miller into the 6-yard box. Flicked half away, breaks to Triantis. It's scuffed, almost came to Boyle. But for Johnston's clearance, he would have done. More height than distance on it though, but Sloop's there to launch it away, and there's a free kick. There's a Celtic player down inside the box. I think it's Engels, and that will be a free kick to the home team, who continue to lead the tie by a goal to nothing.
Better little spell from Hibs, getting some set pieces, some corners, higher up the pitch, some possession.
Are you reading the game at the moment, Packy?
Yeah, I think it's in the balance. Obviously, Celtic getting the one goal is critical for them and puts them in a position. They don't have to do anything else if it stays this way. But I think the game is still very much in the balance. I think Hibs they'll come up, but there'll be a big chance somewhere. Celtic desperate for that second goal, of course, to finish the game. I think if they do get a second goal, I think then the game probably would be over. But yeah, Hibs is starting to just realise that they have a chance here.
The third Scottish Cup quarter-final, live here on Sportsound and BBC Radio Scotland. Across the frequencies this Sunday afternoon. Highlights to come on Sports Scene at 7:15 on the BBC Scotland channel of this one, and a look back at the other two, and ahead to tomorrow when Livy play St Johnstone. Semi-final draw follows that. There's a chance for McGregor to put it across, and Maida was inches away from turning home Celtic's second. Brendan Rodgers with his head in his hands down below us. He knows it's a huge chance, and Lewis Miller's absolutely clattered into the goal frame there as well. That would have been a sore one.
That was tremendous play out on the right hand side. I think it was Kuhn.
Johnson, I think it was.
Kuhn played Johnson into the byline. Great cutback, and he was
how did he miss?
Inches away.
How did he
tapping
miss?
It in Maeda.
He's got decent contact on the ball too. Just the wrong side of the post.
Strong play by Bowie against Trusty. He wins it back for Hibs, plays it right to left of the centre circle for Campbell, and out it goes to Obita on the left. Kuhn trying to stick with him. Just a challenge, and done very well there, Nicholas Kuhn, to win it back for Celtic. Now he's scampering in field.
Tremendous.
Short to McGregor.
Tremendous play from Kuhn. Defensive work for his team. Manager would be delighted to say that.
The fans are delighted also, and that's the bit that sometimes goes unnoticed, and you've got to be able to do that even though you've got all the other attributes going forward. But if you can do that, and you can see how the crowd react to that.
To stay in the Celtic team, you've got to do things like that, don't you? Hibs going to make a couple of changes shortly. Levitt and Gale are waiting on the touchline.
Bowie will be coming off. He looks like he's ran out of fuel.
Did well holding off Trusty there, right enough. It was good.
He did very well.
Link-up play. Celtic with McGregor. It's shifted to Johnston on the right and up the line for Kuhn. Johnston on the underlap. Kuhn comes in field instead. It's a left-footed clip ball forward, looking to try and get Engels involved, but Hibs are able to get in the way and clear, and it's Campbell up the line for Boyle. Boyle's got Bowie ahead of him. He has to come back the way though, and that allows the Celtic players to funnel backwards into their defensive postings as Bushiri picks up, finds Miller out to Cadden on this near side. Cadden with the ball forward, looking for Boyle. Now he knocks it on the chest forward, but Carter Vickers holds him off, and he comes right through to Schmeichel, and it stays Celtic 1, Hibernian 0 on 62.5.
Good defending from Carter Vickers. He's followed the running Boyle. He's always going to have the upper hand when it comes to strength, shoulder to shoulder.
Austin Trusty, left of the centre circle, finds Schlupp in the Hibs half, then out to the left for Jota. Goes back to Trusty, and then squares it to Carter Vickers. Two Hibs subs waiting to come on. Next stoppage in play, that'll be happening. Hatate for Schlupp, and then onto the touchline for Jota, and field to Hatate, stabs it back to Schlupp. Celtic 27 minutes plus stoppages away from the semis. Given away there by the holders, and it's with Triantis in the middle of the pitch, just outside the centre circle in his own half, out to the left for Iredale, but he can't find Obita. That goes out for a Celtic throw-in on the far side, and those changes will be made, and as John said, Bowie off, Gale on, and the other change will see Mariah Welsh come off to be replaced by the Welshman Dylan Levitt. And I think that was the changes last week in the derby, wasn't it?
Yep, no surprise. Fresh legs in the middle of the pitch. Gale's a clever player, always looks to get in behind centre halves, but he can also take it in. He's not the biggest, but he holds it up nicely. Levitt will get on the ball. Not the most mobile, but he always wants the ball. He'll keep the ball.
Scored a really good goal against Celtic in Dundee United colours, still in Levitt. Actually a night Celtic won the title. Draw at Tannadice. Carter Vickers goes back to Schmeichel. He'll turn it to his left for Trusty. Sloop's on this near side. Jeffrey Sloop up towards halfway, finds Hatate out to the left for Jota. Rolls it back to McGregor. McGregor then to Carter Vickers. Got Johnston ahead of him on the right-hand side. That's where the pass goes, and then Johnston onto the touchline for Kuhn. Back to Carter Vickers. Gale will chase him down. And the Celtic defender strides forward. He makes it look so effortless at times. Cameron Carter Vickers, he's still on it down the right. Away from a couple of challenges there, but Engels has lost it. Carter Vickers out of position. The Hibs have the ball. They've had to come out all the way out to the right as Cadden knocks it down the line here for Triantis. Holding off Hatate. Has he kept it in? No, he hasn't. Throw into Celtic down on this near side. Celtic 1, Hibs 0. 65 played.
You know, at 1-0, there's always hope. You can see there's still energy in the Hibs players. Still belief. I think it's been a better second half from an offensive point of view than it was the first half. They're now pushing forward a little bit more. Celtic have got the pace in the wide areas. McGregor never gives the ball away, does he?
Very, very seldomly. He's on to it again here, McGregor. And he's found Sloop, left-hand side of the D, at the edge of the Hibs box, so they get for space to shoot, which he does! It's not far away. Wow, he got plenty behind that, did Jeffrey Sloop. He got off the mark in the goal-scoring stakes in Paisley last Saturday evening. He's not far away. If that's on target, it's probably beating Smith at on the left-hand side of his goal. It stays Celtic 1, Hibs 0.
Yeah, it was great set-up play, wasn't it, by McGregor and Hatate. Little combination of play, and then just picking out Sloop, who goes into that sort of inverted fullback. It cuts across, creates a little space for himself, and then with his right foot drills it. I would say probably 6, just past the left-hand post. Goalkeeper, no chance.
Miller infield to Triantis now with Cadden looking for Triantis but given away, and Maida's going to get onto it. It's a lovely little flick for Hatate. Miller wrestles the ball away from him. Offside flag was up in any case. So Celtic leading 1-0, lead to join Hearts and Aberdeen in the Scottish Cup semi-finals this season. The final place will be between Livingston and St Johnstone tomorrow, as I mentioned, live here on the radio, live on BBC Scotland television as well, and it will be followed by the draw for the last 4. Thursday, Rangers against Fenerbahce, as Barry Ferguson looks to take the team through to the quarter-finals of the Europa League. 3-1 up from the first leg. Here come Hibs driving down the right. That game live here on Sportsound. Chris Cadden, early ball in, looking for Gale, who goes down. The Hibs fans roar for a penalty. Goal kick it is for Celtic as we approach the final quarter of the quarter.
I'm looking at Martin Boyle there.
Penalty check here.
I think interesting. Martin Boyle, I'm just going to pick. He's looking so fresh. 32 years of age, and he's still making those darting runs.
Yeah, he's right on the line. I thought Boyle might have been a little bit offside. Game on. But obviously, I think it's worth a check just to make sure. But it was good play. He's playing just on the shoulder of the centre half, looking to get down inside, and that inside sort of kind of almost right channel for him.
Jeffrey Sloop rolling it back to Trusty. Celtic have already come through. Kilmarnock and Raith Rovers both at home. They could win the cup this season, not play outside Glasgow.
Look, this is the difference with Kasper Schmeichel. It's like another outfield player. It's so difficult to press and stress them when they just pop it back to him.
Yeah, they're more than comfortable using Schmeichel in that respect. And he was full of praise for Manuel Neuer when they came up against each other a few weeks ago, and nobody's better at that than Neuer.
But listen, both of those are almost in their late twilight of their career, and that's what the young goalkeepers need to be working on, left and right, and under pressure also, not just doing it and it looks great and then the game starts and they can't do it when they're under pressure.
So Neuer's out for a while after picking up an injury the other night. The Celtic come forward down the left, and Jota, a couple of chops into the box, but he shows too much of it to Triantis, and it's away. Breaks to Hatate. His efforts blocked by Campbell. He would have felt the full force of that, I would have thought. As that pops out for a throw-in on the far side for Celtic, just a bit level with the edge of the centre circle. Inside their own half, it's pulled back by Johnston to Carter Vickers. Again, utilises Kasper Schmeichel. Just over 20 left. Have Hibs got a big chance in them? That's the question.
Well, I think when you've got Boyle looking as sharp as he is, you're always going to have maybe one little chance. All he needs is one through ball.
Yeah, their unbeaten run under the ultimate duress here at Celtic Park right now. As Kuhn drifts in field and rolls it back to Carter Vickers.
Yes, Celtic are in that two minds now. Do we go and try and finish this? Do we manage the game out a little bit more? You know, it's not in their DNA to manage games out. It's about trying to score the next goal, but they're in that area. It's the cup game, and there's 20 minutes left in this game.
Here comes Celtic down the left, switched out to Jota, level with the penalty spot, back to Schlupp. Gets his cross in with the left foot. It's too high for Engels, who arrived in there about 6 yards out. He just sails over his head and out for a throw-in over on the far side, the Hibs left. So just creeping into the final 20 minutes of the 90 here. And David Gray, he'll be delighted that they're just still in the tie right now.
I think David Gray will be happy with what he's seen in the second half. Celtic haven't had any clear-cut chances, I don't think. They've had lots of possession, a few shots, but no one-on-ones.
A longer range.
Yep.
Schlupp one went closest, probably.
He's in.
Not forward. Boyle in behind Carter Vickers. No flag at the moment. Boyle is to try and get the ball under control, and eventually he's crowded out and his shot's blocked. Schmeichel digs it out to Johnston. It just wouldn't sit for him. If that had been a bit further ahead of him, he could have eclipsed both Carter Vickers and Trusty Binnon on goal.
But what he gives every single one of those Hibs fans and his man and his team, they give him hope. Just one pass, because he's playing on the shoulder and it looks like he's got the pace of the two central defenders.
Sometimes he does look offside when you see it.
Yeah.
He's so far in front of him when that ball's played, but it's just the timing of the run, and he's just playing on the verge of offside.
It's Engels for Celtic on the halfway line, encouraging Schlupp to move forward in the left overlap, and he's onto it now. Is Schlupp, left angle of the box for Jota. His ball forward, and the return is cut out by Cadden. And Triantis, I think, came off the ref, did it? Ref might let them play on if Hibs emerge with the ball. In fact, they've got a free kick anyway. Campbell was brought to the ground. Celtic 1, Hibs 0 here on Sportsound.
Yeah, Brendan hasn't gone to the bench yet, but I see him. He's just popped into the dugout to have a chat with John Kennedy, probably.
So often here, Packy, on the hour mark, he does go to the bench because they've normally got the game pretty much sewed up by that point.
Yeah, absolutely. But now it's gone into almost the last 20 minutes. You know, do you change it? The team looks a little bit just running out of a few ideas at the moment.
Don't need to score any more, of course. Hibs will try and change that mindset. It's Gale back to Triantis, clips it forward, looking for Boyle, headed away by Carter Vickers, and now it's with Kuhn, but he's had it taken off him by Iredale. No free kick. Hibs play on. Campbell rolling it wide left for Abita. Gale and Boyle in the middle, and it comes, but it's a poor delivery really, and it's easily away by Carter Vickers, who fires it out to that far side, but Iredale keeps it in play. Down the line for Abita. He's been excellent, Jack Iredale, another star for Hibs over the course of the last few months, and his goal last week summed that up, didn't it?
That was Hibs' goal of the season. He's comfortable on the ball. He very rarely just launches it. He plays nice passes into the midfield or into the wide areas.
And he also looks, John, as he's got a wee turn of pace, which is decent pace.
He's on it again here. Iredale's a long clip ball looking for Boyle. Schlupp heads away and prevents it getting through to the Hibs number 10 and captain. It's now with McGregor into the centre circle for Hatate, spinning away from Levitt and rolling it back to Carter Vickers, who in turn side puts it to the right for Johnston. Back to Carter Vickers, now McGregor, 73 on the clock, 1-0 to Celtic. It's Hatate back to Trusty, out to Schlupp on this near side. A little ball in field to Rio Hatate, and now with McGregor, who finds Maida on the halfway line. Back to McGregor, to his right for Carter Vickers, and then out to the right touchline for Kuhn. Pokes it forward there for Johnston. Iredale trying to stick with him. Johnston and Iredale wrestling there, and Johnston emerges with the ball, finds Kuhn. An early ball into the box, cleared by Bushiri. Campbell back to Abita on the left-hand side. Celtic change coming in a moment. Yang looks like he's coming on as Campbell runs it out of play for a throw-in on the far side, and it will be a Celtic throw-in, and Luke McCowan also coming on, so it'll be at least a double change here for Celtic. Yang and McCowan coming on.
I think you'll see Jota coming off, looking a little bit tired. He's not played a lot of games.
Yeah, he kind of hinted at that, didn't he, Brendan Rodgers, in his pre-match interview. But funnily enough, it's the captain who's going to be replaced by Luke McCowan. It is Jota who'll be replaced by Yang. Callum McGregor, who's an absolute machine, as we know, is going to come off here with more than 15 minutes of the quarter-final still to play.
Unusual for Callum to come off. There's not many times I've seen him coming off.
Took him off last week also.
Did he?
Yeah, and
Maybe.
Engels stepped back into that position.
Right.
So I assume the same thing will happen here.
He's got a slight calf problem, Callum McGregor, which will explain it.
Maybe he's getting a little
He
bit...
did come off against St Mirren last weekend.
That'll be the reason. It's nothing to do with his football or his performance.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, who made a
Hibs
real impact was Yang last week.
Oh yeah, when he came on, he was really good. Scored twice, of course. Junior Hoylett is going to come on for Hibs. Need a big say in the two-headed goals Aberdeen scored against Celtic in last season's semi-final, which is the closest Brendan Rodgers, I think, has come to losing in this tournament. Aberdeen beaten on penalties in the end, but Hoylett was outstanding when he came off the bench in that game. Very surprised Aberdeen didn't retain Hoylett for this campaign, just for his experience and what he can still bring. We've seen what he's offered to Hibs, even just from the bench. Ellie Johan's going to come on too, so there's some more pace. Here comes Celtic with Johnston. He's going to win the corner. Celtic in the double figures in that category now. 15 left. Celtic 1, Hibs 0.
Yeah, Ireland again getting into a good position there and closing down, getting a block and not allowing that cross to come in.
So Johan brings unpredictability, but lots of pace.
I mean, he's on it, he can cause problems.
Big pitch, lots of space here, it should suit him.
However, if Celtic score now, it's not going to happen. You wouldn't feel. In comes the corner, but Smith holds on again inside the 6-yard box. He's in a good game, Jordan Smith. Visiting goalkeepers have to have good games if they're going to get a result, and he has done, but even then sometimes it isn't enough, as is underlined by the current scoreboard situation for the Hibees. This is bowled by Smith out to Cadden on the near side, infield to Triantis, stepping away from Yang. Triantis forward, finds Boyle to his right. Boyle then knocks it out to Cadden on the near side. Cadden goes back the way to Miller. Miller, a little chip forward to Triantis. Cadden's an option on the right. He's managed to get some space free of Schlupp for now, but has lost his bearings as the cross has gone horribly wrong and behind for the goal kick, and it will stay Celtic 1, Hibs 0. As the changes come, Campbell and Boyle have run their races, and it will be Hoylett and Johan who'll come on.
Fresh legs up the top of the pitch.
They've worked hard.
Right now, they've worked their socks off.
When you're a wing back and you've got to work up and down the side, it's not easy. That probably showed in that final cross that he had there just before he came off Cadden. But then Martin Boyle, is it Martin Boyle has come off? Yeah.
I wouldn't have taken Martin Boyle off. No chance.
He's always dangerous.
And he doesn't look tired.
Schmeichel with a goal kick for Celtic, short to Trusty. Hibs don't manage to at least force extra time here. They will then probably be roaring on Celtic to win the trophy, because they'll have big designs on third spot. The only way that achieves guaranteed Conference League football, at least, would be if Celtic win the trophy again. Obita has it on the left. Rolls it out to Hoylett, who's just on. Looks up at the box, fires the ball in. It's cleared by Carter Vickers. If you can get the ball to Hoylett, then he could potentially cause problems. And they did there, but it wasn't his finest cross. He's just on though. Miller picks up on the near side, finds Johan. Ball back the way is with Lewis Miller, who plays it off Hatate and out for a Hibs throw-in on this near side. 78 played. Clock ticking down on the Hibees. This long unbeaten run, which has extended to 3 months since they were last here, is under threat. Unless they can find an equaliser and try and force extra time. Miller bowls it to Hoylett. Bit of keepy uppy there from Junior Hoylett's done well to then nonchalantly flick it out to Obita on the left. Obita out to Gale. Level with the 18-yard line of Celtic. He's found Johan, level with the 6-yard line. Up against McCowan. It is Johan. McCowan's read him though, and he's won it back. The Celtic sub running forward, but he in turn loses out to Johan, albeit it breaks favourably for Hatate. Celtic fans wanted the early ball. They're giving Hatate dogs abuse there.
So did Maena. Maena was making a run, penetrating, run in behind the back four. Lots of space to play it into as well. Surprised Hatate. Normally he sees that and delivers.
Yeah, it's that mindset though, isn't it? When you're 1-0 up, you're managing the game, keep it, take a chance or keep the ball.
Yeah. It's not like he lost the ball either.
Yeah.
Johnston picks up on the right and then back to Carter Vickers. Now with Hatate. Carter Vickers with the armband since Callum McGregor went off. The Hibs have only really got 10 minutes plus stoppage time left to play with here.
Yeah, I thought Cadden went off. Actually, he didn't. He's still on the pitch.
Yeah.
So it's no mistake.
It was Boyle and Campbell who came off just a moment ago. So Trusty plays it short to Schlup, and then field to Engels, and then back to Trusty. Short ball to Carter Vickers, and then out to Johnston. McCowan ahead of him, he instead plays it infield to Engels. Midway inside his own half, it's a long pinged ball, looking for Yang in behind. What a pass it was, Yang's onto it, but Miller heads behind for the corner. Really good pass.
Offside.
Flag's gone up anyway, so it won't be a corner, it'll be a goal, a free kick to Hibs, just outside the box here.
But it is the ball, isn't it? You know, over the top. When you have the pace of Yang and the pace of Maida he's still on the pitch. You can still. They're taking a little chance now. Obviously, Hibs. We've gone into our back four. Is it almost?
Well, Celtic have only lost 2 of their last 38 Scottish Cup ties. Both were against Rangers. Most recently in the semis, a couple of contentious issues there on the pitch. Celtic not getting the free kick decision. It's going to be a Hibs ball. Lewis Miller's limping. Not sure what happened there.
He does like a limp.
All right, okay. I see. It's like that, is it? As Hoylett fails to keep it in play over on the far side. Johnston takes the throw in. 9 left of the 90. Celtic 1, Hibernian 0. Hearts and Aberdeen both through on Friday night and Saturday lunchtime respectively. Here on Sunday afternoon. As it stands, Celtic will be joining them and chasing a 43rd Scottish Cup success. Obita takes the throw in, short to Dylan Levitt, back to Obita, back to the left angle of his box there for Jack Iredale. Forward to Levitt. Midway inside his own half, short ball to the left, but Obita goes back to the edge of his box for Iredale, who sweeps it along the 18-yard line for Bushiri. And then low ball to Miller, and it's gone underneath his foot, and out for a throw, and he's complaining that the pass came in the first place.
I don't know what Miller's complaining about. He got a ball to his foot, and he's blaming the player that passed it to him.
I know.
For his bad control.
Unless he's saying, look, I'm feeling the effects here of an injury, so don't pass to me, but even then...
No, he just didn't want the ball. He wanted his centre-half just to play it long.
He's injured, come off. Schmeichel, short to the right of his box for Carter Vickers. Then the low ball into the midfield for McCowan. He spins away from Levitt and gets it fed to Engels on the centre spot. Fires it with the right foot to the left-hand side, looking for Yang. Miller slides in. There's obviously nothing wrong with Miller as he slides in, because it's a pretty good challenge, to be fair. And out for a throw into Celtic, level with the Hibs 18-yard line. Celtic are going to throw on Adam Ida in a moment. Schlup to the left angle of the box for McCowan. Comes back to Jeffrey Schlup. His pass forward cut out by Levitt. Away by Miller. Up towards Johan. Trusty's onto it. Up high into the air it goes. Flicked on by Yang. Levitt has it. And then Miller away. And then Johan on the turn. Good play by Ali Johan. He's managed to stab it to Hoylett. Gale ahead of him. Johan trying to get ahead of him as well. It's Junior Hoylett. He's looking for Gale. He's overhit the pass though. And we'll go behind on the other side of the goal for a goal kick. Celtic 1, Hibs nil, 83.5 on the clock.
Good play from Hibs. As the game's going on, I think Hibs are looking dangerous.
Right, so Kuhn will be coming off, Ida will be coming on. Nicholas Kuhn getting a big ovation from the Celtic supporters today for his performance.
Yeah, he's been better today. He's been better, especially first half. I thought he was tired near in the second half. Gave the ball away a few times, and maybe the mindset of just stepping back and keeping the ball rather than going at the defender. But the first half, I thought he was productive.
John Collins, Hibs running out of time here.
They're still in the game, 1-0. The Celtic fans will get edgy the last 5 minutes. Can Hibs they'll get a chance. I think they'll get a chance. Get it to Hoylett's feet. Nearly Johan's pace. Gale's a finisher. If you give him an opportunity, he'll finish.
I mean, those balls from Hoylett in the semis last season for Esther Sockler and Angus MacDonald's goals were sublime. Late in the 90 minutes and then late in extra time as Aberdeen took Celtic to penalties. And it was the Joe Hart show from then on, wasn't it? Schmeichel launches it forward with the right foot. Powerful header there by Miller. It breaks to Hatate on the halfway line. He's lost out. Now it's with Cadden. Forward to Johan. Couldn't quite return it to Cadden, and now it's with McCowan. Forward left of the centre circle for Hatate. Johan slides in. And it breaks kindly for Engels, who finds Yang just right of the centre circle, then out to Sloop, and then a challenge from Sloop's penalised, and that's going to be a Hibs free kick. He's brought Cadden down, and the yellow card comes out for the Celtic number 15.
Yeah, well, it gives the opportunity to Hibs to play that set piece. We talked about at the end of the first half, they didn't take the opportunity. This time, that ball will be played into an area. They've got big guy, Bushari. I'm looking at, they've got 1, 2, 3, probably 4, 5. I'm surprised Miller is going to go forward now.
Yeah, he'll go up. Ardale's up there. It's all about the delivery.
Final 5 minutes of the 90. And it is a Triantis free kick, level with the edge of the centre circle, right foot, way too close to Kasper Schmeichel, though. That is way too easy for the Celtic keeper.
Far too high and floaty. Exactly what a goalkeeper wants and what a centre forward does not want.
And a chance to cause havoc in the Celtic box comes and goes for Hibs. As there's a few more seconds, Celtic chip clear. It's Maida under pressure from Miller, midway inside his own half, and he's won the throw-in.
So now that Hibs have went to 4 at the back, now they've got better numbers higher up the pitch. Now they can press. Better numbers.
Yeah, reverting to the back 4, which of course was problematic for them early in the season. Bushiri prevents a ball forward getting through to Ida. It's with Miller. And back to Bushiri. Poor ball, straight to Hatate. Now Maida. Infield to Yang. Now with McCowan. Left centre, Engels. And again, the Celtic fans not happy the ball didn't go forward there.
Yeah, they're always used to you know, that forward pass. And
it's a high bar that's set here, Packy.
It is, very much so. You're in the 86 minutes gone, 4 minutes.
I mean, they're going through the semis as it stands.
Yes, but it's again, like, the decision is, do you manage the game or do you take a chance? And Celtic, I think, have trying to manage the game out. It's just a different mentality.
When Celtic have the ball, they go through to the semi-finals. As Schluck loses out, and now it's picked up by Hoylett, left of the centre circle. Johan ahead of him. Hoylett turns 360 and then rolls it back to the halfway line for Iredale. Now Levitt and now Miller on the near side. 2.5 at 90 left. It's with Cadden down the right, level with the Celtic penalty spot. Maida all over him. It's his challenge, beats it out, and Cadden drops to the ground. Throw in Hibs, but they've got a problem here with Chris Cadden, whose twin brother Nicky went off injured in the first half for an apparent hamstring problem.
He's struggling, it looks like hamstring or lower back. Have they used all the subs?
He was clutching the small of his back earlier on, John, wasn't he?
Yeah, it's his back.
Chris Cadden. And they've brought 5 players on already, so we've seen Levitt, Johan, Obita, Hoylett and Gale have all come on. So can Chris Cadden soldier through the dying embers of this game? He's coming off just now, having received a bit of treatment, but it's a long Lewis Miller throw in here. The Hibs fans here in huge numbers for an away support at Celtic Park are watching in behind Kasper Schmeichel's goal just off to our right. What can Miller conjure up here? To get close to the end of the 90, Celtic 1 up. In comes the throw-in. Breaks towards Iredale, but Sloop does enough to clear. And it's at the halfway line with Obita. They're just trying to come forward quickly here whilst they've still got numbers in the attacking third. It's not a great ball forward by Levitt, though. Easily away by Johnston as Yang picks up on the far side. Not a great ball by Yang, though, this time. Straight to Levitt, and then Bushiri returns in kind and turns it straight out for a throw-in to Celtic on this near side. We are in minute 90 at Celtic Park. The holders leading Hibs 1-0.
It's that stage of the game, a lot of tired legs out there and a lot of slack passes.
Sloop takes the throw into Engels, back towards Sloop, given away though, it's Cadden. McCowan wins it back ahead of Triantis though. Now it's Hatate, now out wide left it's Maida. Ida was in an offside position, but Maida's looking to put it through here for Yang, who puts his first time effort wide of the right hand post.
I mean, that is a tremendous cross from Maeda, inch perfect. Bounce maybe a little bit awkward for Yang, but he's got to be hitting the target.
The stoppage time is going to be 5 minutes. And that's all Hibs have left to play with, because we are just about to go into the first of those. The Celtic leading 1-0 and heading back to Hampden as it stands. That's the 5 minutes confirmed. Here's Bushiri. Low ball for Miller. He's done well on the slide to knock it down the line for Cadden. Sloop digs it out though. And it breaks to Rocky Bushiri on this near side. Goes all the way back to Smith, who's done his level best to keep this unbeaten run going, keep Hibs' Scottish Cup adventure going. They've already beaten Clydebank United. They scored late at Somerset to go through. Can they score late here? Not with balls like that, because Lewis Miller's put it straight to Kasper Schmeichel. Dwight Gale is the very embodiment of frustration at that.
He's absolutely raging. He's got to be doing better than that, Miller.
And he had more time to just settle on the ball. Gale was just probably trying to find his position to go and then make the second phase run, and he just plays it straight into the goalkeeper's arms.
Long for Kasper Schmeichel. The right foot comes off the head of Iredale, breaks to Obita. His ball forwards cut out by McCowan though. And now it's with Yang wide in the right for McCowan at the byline. Can Celtic finish it off here? Ida! Yes, he can! Ida, who scored the winning goal in last season's final, has just rubber-stamped Celtic's passage to the last four this term. Brilliant from Luke McCowan, down to the byline, pulled it back, and Ida finds the bottom left corner. The holders, the favourites, are going through to the semis. Celtic 2, Hibernian 0, and Hibs' unbeaten run is coming to an end here in Glasgow's East End.
Game over, a tremendous goal from Celtic's point of view. Yang, McCowan makes a terrific run, inside run, played to the byline. Looks like it may roll out, but he gets there just in time. A terrific cutback in Ida, where you want your number 9 to be, in the 6-yard box, just pokes it into the corner.
Yeah, and it was a movement by Ida too to create a little bit of space for himself, and it was a perfect cutback, and then he just finishes with a plum into the back of the net.
It's not too dissimilar to the goal that Maida had ruled out in the league game when Johnston's ball was adjudged to have stayed in. This time McCowan has kept it in play. I think Johnston and Celtic felt, and I think it's been reviewed, that it was in the Easter Road as well. But that's it, game, set, match.
Yeah, it looks like it's all over now, 2-0. You can't see Hibs. That second goal should make it a nice last couple of minutes from Celtic's fans' point of view.
Hibs will be disappointed. They haven't created anywhere near the number of opportunities they did in the league game here in December, as Maida picks up Celtic lead for a third. Low ball across the 18-yard line. Beats everyone in green and white, and it was out off a Hibs player for a throw-in to Celtic over on the far side. David Gray staring out into the middle distance down there. He'll be bitterly disappointed. The run had to come to an end at some point, but Hibs left cursing their luck this season, because they've been sent here in both cup competitions. That's not what you want.
No, but I think overall Celtic have deserved it. They've created most chances in the game, and they've controlled good part second half.
Here's Luke McCowan driving into the penalty area. Lovely play to the byline. Again goes McCowan, trying to score himself this time. Smith makes the block, and Celtic have a corner with about a minute and a half left of the stoppage time. Maybe a little bit added on top of that because of that second Celtic goal. One
thing I like about McCowan, he's always positive. He looks forward all the time. His first thought is, can I drive forward? Can I play forward? Can I get a shot off? There, terrific player, beats a player, gets the byline. I thought, should he cut it back from this angle? I'm not sure if it was the right choice.
Could have been playing for Hibs today, Luke McCowan. Hibs were desperate to sign him. Celtic gazumped them at the last.
It's a good
summer window.
Yeah, I like him a lot.
Short corner back to Hatate down the line, then back to Engels, and now with Carter Vickers. Celtic are going to take some stopping. Big favourites to win a treble. The league just about in the bag, the League Cup already in the bag. And just who can stop them? Aberdeen, Hearts, and Livingston playing St Johnstone tomorrow. They'll have to play 2 of those 4 sides to win the trophy. Yet again, there's Hatate coming forward, and Johnston got himself into a good position on the right. Hatate elected not to play him in. He's looking for Maida instead. Maida's in. Maida goes round Smith, who reacts well. He gets down and makes a block. He's been excellent for Hibs today. Daisen Maida will be annoyed that he's not scored his second and put Celtic 3 up. It stays at 2-0 right at the end here.
Yeah, listen, now Hibs are really struggling to cope, but I've got to say, the goalkeeper again, he stays on his feet and waits for the moment that he can go and collapse it, mind his feet and make the save.
You pleaded with him to show you just how good a keeper he is today, and he's absolutely done that, hasn't he?
He's done that. He's lost 2 goals, but he had no chance. And the save he had for the first goal was magnificent. The second goal, he had no chance. But the saves he's had, and that just typifies it there at the end.
Yeah, he's been man of the match.
Final whistle. Celtic through to the semis. They've beaten Hibs 2-0 and ended the High B's 15-match unbeaten run as they look to win the Scottish Cup for a 43rd time. They've won 8 of the last 14, and they'll see no reason why they can't make it 9 out of 15. And Brendan Rodgers remains unbeaten in the competition, and they've only lost 2 of the last 39 Scottish Cup ties now as well. They're like a train in this tournament. Goals from Daisen Maida and Adam Ida at the end of each half have done for Hibernian, who've been just brilliant over the course of the last 3 months since they were last here and lost in the league. This is their first defeat since then, but their Scottish Cup dreams are over for another year, and their 7,000 supporters will leave Glasgow and back along the M8 disappointed. But for Celtic, the treble is still there for them, and it finished here to the blue skies in Glasgow. Celtic 2, Hibernian 0.